Dolls have been a part of human culture for centuries. They are often seen as symbols of childhood innocence and playfulness. However, there is a dark side to dolls, as they are also often associated with ghosts and hauntings. Haunted dolls are a popular subject of ghost stories and urban legends. Some of these dolls are said to be possessed by evil spirits, while others are said to be cursed. These dolls have been known to cause a variety of paranormal activities, including moving on their own, making noises, and even harming people. Come on board as we explore the top 10 most haunted dolls ever. Before we begin, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and click the notification bell for more scary videos every week. With that being said, let's begin. Annabelle. The story of Annabelle, a Raggedy Ann doll, became infamous with the release of The Conjuring and Annabelle films. The real Annabelle is much less sinister in appearance than her film counterpart, but she still made quite a name for herself in the 1970s. Annabelle was given to a nursing student named Donna by her mother. Donna and her roommate Angie would often return home to find that the doll had changed positions or moved rooms. They would also find handwritten notes scrawled onto parchment paper saying, "Did you miss me?" The Warrens, a pair of paranormal investigators, became involved in the case after nearly a year of strange activity. They concluded that the doll was possessed by a demon and took it into their care. The Warrens placed Annabelle in a locked glass case in their occult museum, where she remains to this day. They believe that the doll is still possessed by the demon, but that the glass case keeps it contained.
So Tony, most people might look at this doll and say, oh, it's just a cute little Raggedy Ann doll, but that's not quite the case.
It's probably the most dangerous artifact that we have here in the museum itself. It's responsible for, we believe, the death of a young man who came on a motorcycle and challenged that doll to do its worst, and it did.
Robert the Doll. Robert is a large, straw-stuffed doll dressed in a sailor suit. The doll was given as a gift to a boy named Robert Eugene Otto for his 7th birthday in 1906, and he quickly became attached to it. The doll was given to Otto by a maid who had been fired from his family's household. The maid was said to be a voodoo practitioner, and she cursed the doll to cause harm to Otto. Otto began to experience strange things around the doll, such as hearing noises coming from its room and seeing it move on its own. One day, Otto's mother saw Robert sitting in a chair, rocking back and forth. When she asked Robert what he was doing, the doll's head turned 180 degrees and it said, "I am watching you." Otto's family eventually became so afraid of the doll that they locked it away in an attic. After Otto grew up and moved away, he gave Robert to a museum in the Fort East Martello Museum in Key West, Florida. The doll has been on display at the museum ever since, and it continues to be a source of fascination and speculation. Peggy the Doll. Warning ahead, looking directly into Peggy's eyes is known to cause harm and even heart attacks, even through the screen. Hence, we are going to censor her eyes for this video. Peggy the Doll is a haunted doll that is said to be possessed by the spirit of a young girl who was abused by her family. The doll is currently in the possession of Zach Bagans' Haunted Museum in Las Vegas. Peggy was originally owned by a young girl named Peggy. Peggy was abused by her family, and she eventually died from her injuries. Her family placed her doll in a chest, hoping that it would help to keep her spirit at bay. The doll was eventually found by a paranormal investigator named Jane Harris. Harris claimed that she was possessed by the spirit of Peggy and that she began to experience strange events after she took the doll home. Harris reported feeling a sense of dread and unease around the doll, and she also claimed to have seen it move on its own. Harris eventually gave Peggy the doll to Zach Bagans, who now exhibits it in his museum. Visitors to the museum have reported feeling a sense of dread and unease around the doll, and some have even claimed to have seen it move on its own. Island of the Dolls. Move over Annabelle, because this is the Island of the Dolls, located on a small island in Mexico that is home to hundreds of dolls. The dolls are said to be possessed by the spirits of children who drowned in the lake near the island. The dolls were first placed on the island by a man named Don Julian Santana Barrera. Barrera claimed that he began collecting the dolls after he saw the ghost of a young girl who had drowned in the lake. He believed that the dolls would help to protect her spirit. Visitors to the island have reported feeling a sense of dread and unease, and some have even claimed to have seen the dolls move on their own. Okiku Doll. Okiku is a Japanese doll that was purchased by a young man in 1918 as a gift for his younger sister. The girl died of a severe case of the flu a year later, and the doll was placed in a shrine in her memory. The family noticed that the doll's hair, which had originally been cut in a short bob, had grown past its shoulders. They believed that the doll was possessed by the spirit of their dead daughter, and they entrusted it to the care of the Manenji Temple in Hokkaido in 1938. The doll's hair has continued to grow over the years, and it is now several feet long. Pupa. Pupa is a cursed doll that is said to be able to kill people. The doll was created by a witch in the 17th century, and it is said to be filled with evil magic. Pupa has been known to cause a variety of misfortunes, including accidents, illness, and even death. Anyone who comes into contact with Pupa is said to be in danger. Pupa is currently in the possession of a private collector. The collector has kept the doll hidden away, hoping to protect others from its evil. Joliet. Joliet is a haunted doll that is said to be cursed. The doll is said to trap the souls of young boys within its body, and each boy is only expected to live for 3 days. The legend of Joliet begins with a woman who received the doll as a pregnancy gift from a friend. The friend and the woman had a bitter relationship, and it is believed that the friend cursed the doll out of jealousy. 3 days after the woman's son was born, he fell ill and died. Sometime after the boy's death, the woman heard crying that seemed to be coming from the doll. Upon closer inspection, she concluded that her son's soul had been imprisoned within the doll. Since then, those who have inherited the doll have treated it as if it were their child. They have never attempted to dispose of the doll for fear of releasing the souls that are trapped within it. Mandy. Mandy is a porcelain doll with a sinister presence, and it is said to be able to control people's minds. Mandy was originally owned by a young girl named Margaret. Margaret's family claimed that the doll would move on its own and that it would speak to Margaret in a strange voice. Mandy was donated to the Canal and District Museum in British Columbia, Canada in 1991. Eerie sounds, like whispers and faint laughter, are often associated with Mandy. She has left a trail of fear and unease in her wake, cementing her reputation as one of the most haunted dolls. Letta the Doll. Short for Letta Me Out, Letta is a 200-year-old wooden doll with human hair. It has strange powers that terrify anyone who comes into contact with it. It has appeared on television shows and in newspapers around the world. The wooden, child-sized doll has been in Kerry Walton's possession for about 40 years after he stumbled across it underneath a haunted house in Wagga Wagga. Kerry Walton claimed that the doll would move on its own and that he would often feel a cold presence in the room when the doll was around.
How many people like him?
Kerry's family weren't the only ones to sense something strange in the doll. Randolph, the family dog, attacked it on sight, and still does, 9 years after it was carried back to the Waltons' home in Brisbane. Experts at the Australian Museum believe the doll is the work of a gypsy craftsman, possibly in Romania.
Lily the Haunted Doll. Lily is a haunted doll that was made in Germany during the 1800s. She has real human hair and is said to be possessed by the spirit of a little girl who died in a tragic accident. The doll was first owned by an antiques dealer who began having nightmares about the little girl. He eventually put the doll up for sale at his shop. One day, a customer's little girl spoke to the doll for 3 hours, interacting with her like a fellow child. When Zach Bagans of Ghost Adventures first encountered the doll, he reported feeling an immense energy radiating from her. He decided to take the doll to his museum, where it remains today. Dolls are a fascinating part of human culture, and haunted dolls are a particularly intriguing subset. If you ever come across a doll that you think may be haunted, it is best to leave it alone and seek professional help. We hope you enjoyed this video about haunted dolls. Stay tuned for more scary videos from Deca Digest Horror. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more spooky content. Your support means the world to us.